Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, and I am so glad that you're back and ready to learn and ready to get more value. Comment below if you're getting value the last couple of days, and if you're just joining us today, we'll put a link below or put a link in the comments about how you can get the recordings for this. Right now, we're offering 50% off. Also, we're selling the book that you can jot down your notes in, and it has a summary and tips and tricks from each speaker. And we're going to be selling that at 75% off for the next 24 hours. So make sure that you grab one of those as well. So let's get started. First off, let me congratulate the winners. While you were waiting in the weight room, we had put in the winners, but we'll put them in the comments again. If you see your name, please shout out, and we will be getting in touch with you and sending you JT Clark's book. It'll be signed copy. So congratulations for that. Thank you for putting the quest, hashtag the quest on social media. And make sure that you're sharing all this information with your family, your friends. Put it on social media, hashtag the quest, hashtag change your mindset today. So let's get into today. I don't want to waste any time. Today, I'm going to talk real quickly about some tips and tricks that you can do for social media. Just quick little things that I tell my clients or I do for my clients that gets them more leads. We're going to talk about branding consistency, and we're going to talk about call to action. If you don't know what call to action is, I'm getting ready to show you. But call to action basically means that at the top of your website or at the top of your social media, that there is a way for them to get in touch with you. Or when you do a social media post, at the end of your social media post, you have a phone number or you have an email. You have some way for them to get in touch with you. Everything you do needs to have a call to action. Either buy this by going to this website, order this by calling this number, get this service by sending me an email at this email address. You always want a call to action. It's very important. I don't know how many posts I see that will talk about their services, talk about their products, and then there's no call to action. What do I do? Where do I go? I want this service, but how do I get it? So you need a call to action. We're going to take a short break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Today, I'm real excited to announce our next speaker, Travis Greenlee. He's a mentor of mine. He's a mentor of thousands. He has helped hundreds of people, even during this recession, even during this pandemic, create, start, and have successful businesses. He's a 20-year business coach and business consultant. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that you can get from him is amazing. I will put his link below if you want his services. He's going to be offering a discount for today for the people that are watching, just for you. So be looking for that. Travis Greenlee, I mean, there's no words to describe how much he knows about business and about how to become a business consultant or a business coach. You really got to take his course. It's just an amazing experience. He does a hands-on course that just matches no other. So without further ado, here's Travis Greenlee.
Travis Greenlee specializes in helping entrepreneurs to enhance their lives by growing freedom-based lifestyle businesses with simplicity and ease. Wow, so simple, so juicy. Yeah, we're going to have an excitingly deep, awesome conversation. Travis, you ready to rock this?
I'm ready to rock this, brother. Let's do this.
He's ready to rock it. We're doing it. I love it, man. I love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come on here, share with our audience and the podcast and the YouTube channel, all the great stuff we got going on. We appreciate you, man.
Right on, brother. It's an honor to be here, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to dive right into the question and the theme of today, which is upgrade your questions. And Travis, how have you specifically upgraded your questions to experience more effective results, more expansive life conditions, and being your greatest possible self?
Fantastic question, man. I mean, that's a deep question right there. I mean, I could spend hours talking about that one, right? But I think it really is. It's really, for me, it's about simplicity. It's getting rid of the head junk, getting rid of the overwhelm, the busyness, just the muck that so many of us run around with all the time. We're so busy and we're just so overwhelmed that, it just tends to overtake us. So for me personally and for my clients, it's all about simplicity. It's about breaking it down to its simplest core, and then those questions really asking what's important to you in terms of your values, your values and where you are in your life, where you're headed, that trajectory, and being able to really fit into that, and then just getting rid of the noise, man, getting rid of everything else.
Man, simplicity is key, and the best life lessons and the wisdom is those simple truths. I've been reading about the Tao, the way, right? And it's like that ancient Chinese philosophy. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Is so simple in its fundamental nature, and those truths are so simple. Tell us a little bit more about what you've discovered in that simplicity. What were some situations that had you discover this profound simplicity yourself?
Yeah, you bet. I mean, there's a couple of them. A couple major, experiences in my life. We could call them breakdowns. We could call them crisis. I call it a vision. Really beginning to see what's important. But the first one for me was cancer. I am actually a 2-time cancer survivor. So back in 2000, I came down with stage 4 melanoma.
Wow.
So skin cancer. It was bad. It was a scary time. They had given me a 50% chance of living beyond 2 years, and, did all the chemo and the surgeries, and I lost my hair. And I mean, it was just a crazy, crazy time. And prior to that, I was on the path. I was young. I was 24, 25, just graduated college, went to school and went to work for Merrill Lynch. So as a financial advisor and working hard and long hours, and built up a client base of about $125 million in assets. So thought I had arrived. I was living in Orange County, California, and driving a little red Saab convertible around, and had my little Merrill Lynch license plate frames and a little cell phone and my suit. And I mean, I laugh about it now too. Like, oh God, what I got back in the day. But man, that's how I rolled in my early 20s. And what I got from all of that was just this whole stress and this push and this more and faster and all that kind of stuff is, at least personally for myself and my students and the people that I work with, is just a dead end, man. The stuff isn't the way in terms of happiness. It really is about that freedom. So it took a major breakdown in my life. I mean, to get sick, literally to be hammered to the mat. At the same time, I lost all my money. So not only was I sick, did I, come down with the cancer, but, coming from a stage of 26, 27 years old, making mid 6 figures and just killing it, right? At least seemingly so, financially anyway, to lose all that, because of the hospital bills and the copays and everything else. So not only was I sick, not only was I, going through all of that, but I went bankrupt, man. I mean, I lost it all. And so talk about an ego adjustment or a shift in terms of my identity. Up to that point, it was all about success, and I'm the most successful one of my friends, and I'm charging, everything's, all about that. It's about more and the stuff and the nice car and the nice home and all that. And what I realized was when all that was stripped away, not necessarily out of my choice, but it was just so stripped away that I saw the miracle. And the miracle was, hey, man, there's a lot more to life than just charge, and all this stuff. For me, it's about that simplicity and stepping back and enjoying a lifestyle and having peace of mind and freedom and beautiful family. And as you know now, I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a little exclusive ski resort in the northwest corner of the state. And I snow ski every morning with the boys. So we got about 8 of us that we meet up every morning and we do our 2 hours of powder skiing, and I come back and hit my desk and make calls and get to serve and support amazing people and let them light up. And it's an amazing, amazing life. And the irony now, though, is I've got all the stuff, all the stuff that was like, I was chasing, all the stuff that I was after. Once I shifted all of that, like, hey, that really isn't that important, then it's just so available. But I think it's just that mindset shift and really getting back to simplicity. I read a good book, and maybe you throw this out there. In fact, I'll give you 2 good books. What's the rating on this show, by the way? Is this a G show? Is this an R show? I mean, can I drop some F-bombs if I need to, or like, what do we got going on?
If you need to, yes, use it with discretion.
With discretion. I just wanted to check in, man, make sure it's okay, Yes. But so 2 good books that I would recommend. Number 1 is Essentialism. So Essentialism is absolutely fantastic, and the whole premise is less is more. Less is better. And what I mean by that is just streamlining your day, streamlining your to-do list, streamlining your actions, and all the stuff that we get so busy and we get so addicted to, right? To just streamline that and get back to the most essential aspects of your life, your relationships, your health, your wealth, so on and so forth. So that was a huge turning moment for me. And then the other book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Fantastic book. I would highly recommend it. It's a little edgy. It's a little raw, as you can tell by the title of it. But I tell you, it is an absolute life changer. And if you haven't read that or listened to the audiobook, I would highly recommend that as well. And again, it's just about stop chasing the stuff. Get back to what is important to you in your life. And so that really is the premise and the essence and really the foundation of all my work and my work with my students and my clients and helping them to create these types of lives as well. It's been fantastic.
I love it, man. I love it. So you're helping people to create this lifestyle that they've always dreamed of. And I'm sure there's an idea of what it might take to actually achieve that. And then you get to come in and, 1, guide them along the path, but 2, provide support and resources and the proper expectations of what that might take and the key distinctions that would really get them to where that they want to go. So along your own journey, what were some of the key distinctions that you had to discover in addition to the essentialism and really not needing all that stuff? What else did you learn to become an effective business mentor and coach?
Great points. And so I think a lot of it is just clarity. Getting to the point of, and I think this is so difficult. In fact, this is probably the most difficult aspect to really grasp for most of my students and the people that I work with. And, a lot of times people think that they're clear and they think they know the path that they're on. But, it's like that whole analogy of, you climb so hard up the ladder and all of a sudden you get to the top of the ladder. You're like, oh shit, I'm in the wrong building, man.
Oh, yeah.
Over there, right? And I see a lot of that as opposed to really doing that foundational work and getting clear about your values, what you hold so valuable to you and so important to you, and then beginning to create your life around that, creating your life around the lifestyle. Again, it's what I got from going through that cancer is, hey man, life is short. Life is short, life is delicate. None of us know really how long we're going to be here. And I think if you've gone through a challenge like that or, sort of a crisis in a lot of respects to really kind of wake you up, that's when you see that moment of clarity. And I've had several of them in my life. One of them was I had a digital marketing agency a couple of years ago. And so I thought, man, this is the ladder, man. It's hot. Digital marketing is hot. And this is what everybody needs. And so on and so forth. So, man, I got in hard and heavy. And this is back in the day, back in 8-9 years ago when it was all brand new. Created a digital marketing agency, built it up, scaled it up, got to the point where my burn rate and my My resources were, $25,000, $30,000 a month or more, just in payroll.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the pressure on that,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and so what I realized, and this is last year, so I just turned 50, I hit that big 50. And what I realized is, we were making great money, certainly more money than I've ever made in my entire life. But I remember waking up one day and I got out of bed. I'm like, you know what? I hate this. I just cannot do this anymore. And what I mean by that is what happened was the business is kind of morphed and morphed and morphed. And I'm much more of a right brain guy, sort of like you. We love to inspire and we love to empower and we love to coach and strategy and all those kind of things. It's just awesome, right? I mean, it's so much fun. There's so much energy around it. Left brain, not so much. Numbers, taxes, details, customer support, like managers managing managers. And that's what the business became. Yeah. And so all of a sudden I woke up one day, I'm like, how did I get here? Right. But the trap is the money. The money was the trapping, is like, ooh, I got the money and now raise the lifestyle. So now we're spending more and it just becomes such a trap. And so really looking over that. So what I did was I said, you know what, I'm just going to take some time off. And it was the first time in 25 years since I started my career back in Merrill Lynch. I'm like, I'm going to take 3 months off. Wow. We sold a couple of our properties, so we liquidated some stuff. We made it possible to be able to do that. But I took 3 months off, and I got deep into meditation, and I got, we did a cleanse, and we just, all this stuff just to get as clear and as centered and as focused as I could possibly get, more than I've ever been in my life. Read Essentialism, read The Subtle Art, and all these things was like, the messages are coming from all the different places, was simplify, man. Get back to your roots, get back to what you love, get back to what you're passionate about, because life is short. Really taking inventory on that, on our own values and what's important to us. So I did it. It was risky, but I was like, you know what, that's it. So decided I sold the business. So liquidated that and got back to what I love, which is the coaching, the consulting, the programs, the design, the creative aspect, which for me is like joy. It's the energy, it's the excitement. So, and the irony, the income obviously dropped for a while and dropped a bit. But it was okay, and to sort of reinvent myself at 50 years old is kind of a scary thing for a lot of people too. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to trust. I'm going to give it to God. I'm going to give it to the universe and just let it happen. Let it roll the way it did. And like anything, we got back and all of a sudden I got clear and started attracting the clients that I love working with that inspired me. Now I get as much out of them as they get out of me, and that kind of relationship. And so now I get out of bed, I'm fired up and I'm excited, I'm passionate. And because of that, now the income is back. In fact, the income's better than it's ever been. But I don't have the hassles, man. I don't have the details and the managers and the this and that. So it's course correction, constantly looking at ourselves and certain things that you do. And one of the big things that I would recommend is, and if you guys haven't gotten into this, definitely check out Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning.
Oh, yeah.
So he's got, the Miracle Morning. He's got books on it. He's got a huge Facebook group, 120,000 people or something following it. But The Miracle Morning is all about creating your morning routine. And it's absolutely essential for your success and really for your happiness and your well-being, is just to get dialed into the routine that works for you. And so mine's very simple. I get up in the dark. I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. My wife's she's a night owl, so she's sleeping in the morning, gives me time in front of the fireplace with my dogs, and I stretch and I drink my water and I do my meditation. I do breathing and exercise and reading, and just get centered, get connected. Journaling is critical. Absolutely got to be journaling every single day. I mean, it is so critical in terms of making sure that you're climbing the right ladder. On a consistent basis, because what we tend to do is we get so busy with what we're doing, handling all the different things and, all the spinning plates that we've got going on in our families and our businesses and our lives and everybody else, that it's super easy, just like an airplane, flying, all of a sudden you just get a little off course.
Just a little couple degrees.
Yes, a little degree can make a huge difference, right? And not a good way.
Right.
And so same thing with us. We've got to constantly be course correcting. And the only way that we can do that is by taking time, meditation, journaling, prayer, breathing, heart math. I would highly recommend as another resource, heart math. If you guys haven't seen that, what heart math is a tool. So it's a resource, and I use it on my smartphone, on my iPhone. But it's this little app that you put on. It has this little sensor that you put on your ear. And what it does is, as you breathe to this sensor, it indicates your heart rate, your pulse, your energy, all of that, and it pulls it all together to show you. And it's in color, so it'll be red, blue, or green. So it'll show you where you are in your state tangibly. So if you're stressed out and you're feeling that way, man, you'll be in the red. Right. And then as you start to get kind of chilled out and kind of get into the zone and start to get centered, it'll go, into the blue and into the green. And the whole goal is obviously to keep it in the green and to stay in that coherent state for, 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I'm telling you, you do this every single day, you will not believe what it'll do for you in terms of your clarity.
Wow.
We always talk about, energy. The law of attraction is like, are you operating at a high frequency or are you operating at a low frequency? It's all about energy. Low frequency is when we're depressed, when we're down, when we're stuck, when we're immobilized, when we're in fear, when we're any of the negative stuff. We can't see through the forest through the trees. We're so blinded by all of that. Whereas when we're operating in the high frequency, when we're feeling love and we're feeling contribution and we're feeling positive and confident and light and open, that's where we're inspired. That's where we have that clarity to really begin to determine, like, what do we want and are we on that path and what type of course correction do we need? So, the key is to get into that state as consistently and as often as we possibly can. And as we do, everything just runs so much smoother, so much easier, and it's a hell of a lot more fun, man.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
Right?
Man.
Here's to fun.
That's right. That's right, man. I love that you took like such a radical leap of, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied with my life. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to give myself that space because so many people are on that hamster wheel of life. And if you don't have 3 months to take off, which most people don't, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. You can start with 5 freaking minutes a day. Start with what you got. Start with what you can. Do what you can, and the rest will take care of itself. And I love that you mentioned that because I'm doing a 10-day silent meditation retreat I told you about at the end of this month. I'm super, super stoked just to rediscover, reconnect to that presence of me, my soul, my spirit, and what that guiding compass is within me. So for everyone out there, our invitation to you is to give yourself that space and be radical about it. Take a weekend, if that's all you can do, take a weekend, a Saturday and a Sunday to just go somewhere and get away. Go to, a beach, like sleep in your car, sleep at a hotel, whatever it is, like get in that space to just reconnect with who you are. Turn off the phone, turn off the electronics, and just like give yourself a reset because that's one of the most powerful things that we can do to get that clarity.
Yep. Absolutely agree. The most important thing. I mean, a lot of times people say, how do you build a successful business and have the lifestyle and the freedom and the stuff and everything else? All that is it comes as a result of everything that we're talking about here. I mean, the mindset piece and the clarity and that connection is 95% or more of it. It really is the secret to success. And I know we've all heard this stuff, right? It's not, people are listening like, I've heard it all before. But the difference is, what are you doing about it?
That's right.
There's a big difference in hearing it from a theoretical perspective. And there's another difference of actually having your miracle morning routine every morning. Yeah. Taking a Friday off or Saturday off, no cell phones, getting away from technology, getting away from the digital noise and just everything else, and actually doing the stuff is what we're talking about. And because it's so simple, unfortunately, that's where most people just don't do it. Yeah. So then they don't see the results, right? So I would just encourage everybody, just do it, man. Give it a shot. Give it a try. You will love what you find as a result.
Amen. And what else? I love that we can declare something to the public. We can declare something to our mentors or coaches or people who we look up to and say, hey, I'm committed to making this happen. And people want to help. People want to jump in and add value and be of service. And it's simply about reaching out. It's simply about stepping up to the plate and saying, this is something that actually matters to me, and I'm willing to do something about it. I'm willing to get uncomfortable enough to let someone know I know who I look up to, or ask for help, or reach out and get that support. And I know, Travis, you are someone who's building communities. That's a huge part of what you do. So why don't you share with us a little bit more about that? community driven, accountability, power in numbers philosophy that's really served you in your life?
Without doubt. I mean, it's the energy. It's just that positive energy. It's the environment. In fact, I'm reading another great book right now I'd highly recommend. It's called Willpower Doesn't Work. Willpower doesn't work. Wow. And what that means is, we all think about, we've got a goal or something that we want or something that we want to do. And we're going to go out, we're going to have the willpower. We're going to force ourselves to do it. Or it could be willpower not to do it. For instance, like, if I got a plate of cookies laying on my counter, I'm going to eat the suckers, man. I mean, I love cookies. Even though I want to be trim and fit and feel great, man, I'm going to eat the cookies. Yeah. So willpower only goes so far. My point around this and this whole book and the philosophy around it, and it's just so powerful, is environment. The power of environment and the power of tribe and, what an environment could be a lot of different things, starting with the people that you hang with. You've heard the phrase, we become the average of the 5 people that we associate with the most, the people that we're talking to and the influences that we have. And, a lot of times we just take it for granted. We don't think about it. Our buddies, our drinking buddies, or like my ski buddies, God bless them. I love them. But they're my ski buddies, right? They're not entrepreneurs. They're not out there kicking ass. They're most of them retired and doing their thing. So it's great to hang with them. But I could begin to feel it. And I really did near the end of the ski season where I had 3 months of consistent conversation with this. It started to even pull me down. I started to get pull into that, I don't need to push, this is fine. All I want to do is ski and hang out. And so it's that environment. We really need to be careful of our environments. Another thing is the food. Right? I mean, the food that we have in our homes, the food that we have available, it's just such a subconscious thing. And success and creating this is all about energy, right? So feeding our bodies to have as high energy as we can to attract and to generate. It's all about the environment. So your people, your food, it's your office space. Everybody's like, Travis, your office is so great. It's so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, it's sort of like my stage, my sound set right here. But I keep it very intentional. I keep it clean. I keep it powerful. I mean, this is like Power Central. This is where I get shit done, right? Like really cool stuff. So it's environment and the people and the environment and the space. Another thing is being in places that inspire you. So back to your question is like tribe and people is, going to events, right? Going to events that like people are up there and you're seeing other people that are successful and doing the things and have done the things that you want to do. It's like, model it, man. Just get in there and follow them and see what they're up to. Vacations. I'm going to Cabo with my wife next week. We take vacations all the time. Yeah, Cabo's awesome, right?
I went last year. It was amazing.
Oh, man. Barefoot in the sand, man. It's like, after a long winter, I'm like, I'm looking forward to it. But I intentionally put myself into this. This is all piece of the lifestyle is when we're in these environments, we feel it. We feel it to our core and it just gets into that subconscious. And then the subconscious starts saying this is how things are. This is how my life is. I deserve these types of moments. I deserve this type of lifestyle and really to treat yourself well. Whereas I see so many people, they get so tight and they hold, they don't enjoy themselves. They don't put themselves out there and it's just costing them. So really important in terms of the different environments that we have right now and really taking a look at that and really analyzing that, journal about it, say, what environments do you have with your food? What do you have with your friends? What do you have with your mastermind, the people that you're working with, your teams, and then say what's working and what's not working in terms of your trajectory and where you're headed. And then you got to make some serious decisions. Maybe you got to let some friends go or get rid of that plate of cookies or whatever that might be. Environment is critical. Back to your question on tribe, I'm all about tribes. So I've got a couple tribes that I run. One is called the Epic Men Tribe. So it's primarily for men, in the 45 to 65 range that are leaders, guys that have been successful before, they're entrepreneurial, and they're at that stage of life where they're just kind of reinventing themselves. They've raised families, they've made money, they've had successes, they've built businesses, and now they're saying, what's next, man? What it is all about. So I saw the power in that, said, look, I'm going to put together a tribe. We got over 10,000 guys now roaring, and it's just great. It's fun. And what it does is it has me rise, being the leader, basically because I just put this thing together. It's just an idea like, hey, I want to be part of something like this. Might as well create it. And so did, and it's growing and growing and growing and kind of taking on a life of its own. And that's it forces you to step up in terms of leadership, forces you out of your comfort zone, and to do things maybe that you normally wouldn't necessarily do unless you had a tribe to lead. And then, of course, the relationships and the bonds and be able to communicate and share deep things that maybe you wouldn't share with a business partner or a spouse or whomever. You have those opportunities. So got the Epic Life tribe, or the Epic Men tribe. Another tribe that I'm super excited about is our Lifestyle Business tribe. So again, my whole brand is helping people to build lifestyle businesses, freedom-based lifestyle businesses. So this is where we all get together, and whether it's a coach or a consultant or an expert or a service professional, we've got network marketers, people that are just into creating a life. The lifestyle comes first. The lifestyle is the most important, and then building a business around that. So you've got the time and the space to do the things that you truly love to do, because life is short, man. So many of these people that are on this treadmill and they're in the office and they're like, what? There's got to be something else out there. I can tell you there is. There absolutely is. But you got to have some balls. You got to be able to step up and, push through that fear, which is a big one. Of course, that's all about the growth, to be able to step out. So that's why we created this tribe, so that we're not here alone, and we can all face our fears together, and we can, share different tips and tools and resources to be able to do that, to be able to grow a true freedom-based lifestyle business. And, it's my life's work. It's what excites me. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning again. And we just got a great group of going. So I would encourage all of you guys, come join us, man. It's so awesome. You'd love our tribe.
I love it. So going back to how we get to this point, it starts with clarity on what we want, that vision, the values that will drive it, and really being centered in what we want. And then when we get that picture, it's all about finding the support, the resources, the mentors, the coaches, the people, the community, the environment that's going to help us create that reality. So, Travis, what have you noticed about people building their home-based lifestyle, home-based business, and having the lifestyle that they want? What's the biggest challenge that they experience on the journey to fulfilling that?
Great question. I think fear. Fear is just the biggest one of, can I do it? Will it work? Can I leave the comfort of my job? If they've got a solid paycheck that maybe they've had for their entire lives, and they hate their jobs, but man, they got security. They got that paycheck every month. So thinking about what it would be like to not have that is mind-boggling for so many people. I mean, they just can't handle it, and I get it. Again, especially if that's what you've been ingrained and programming and what you feel comfortable, and you need that sense of control. But what I found is the true joy and the true fulfillment in life is, again, pushing through that and pushing through those fears. So the biggest one is fear. Coming up of fear of success, fear of failure, fear of change, fear of what people are going to say. Your family members, you're leaving your job to do what? And caring so much about what other people think about us. So there's all those things wrapped into it, into our identities that we've known ourselves to be. But again, the power is surrendering and moving through that. And that's the power of the tribe. And of course, the power of a coach. We just can't do this stuff on our own. There's just absolutely no way. We have the willpower, we've got the intention, we've got the plans, we've got the excitement, but then we go out and say, all right, what's the first step? I'm not sure. What's the second step? Well, I don't know. I don't even know what the first step is. So then they spin wheels, and then you get deeper into this fear, and you get this overwhelm, and that whole fear becomes a self-fulfilling philosophy. So, so the fear is a big one, and then having that tribe to help you to overcome that and push through that. And it's all about competence. Competence creates confidence. And so competence means, try. One simple word is, hey man, just try. Get out there and just try it. And, if you fail, fine, you're going to learn. You're going to fail forward. In fact, I'm all about failing as much and as fast as I possibly can, because that's where you learn, and that's how you grow as fast. But so many people equate failure and fear of, what that means to their identity, or what people are going to think about them, or, it's a bad thing, or there's so much judgment around it. But when you can flip that around, I think that's where what I love so much about entrepreneurs and lifestyle business owners is they get that, hey man, I want to fail. I want to learn. I want to learn quickly, and I want to move through it. And as fast as you can do that, that's where you're going to begin to gain the competence, to learn the different skill sets that it takes. And it's a different animal. altogether. I mean, for those that, again, have had corporate jobs or even businesses where you got a sales manager walking around behind you and kind of managing and holding you accountable, and you're there. It's, man, you work, right? But when you got a home-based business and you've got a lifestyle business, there ain't nobody around to be pushing on your shoulder. You got to be able to create that whole new sense of, accountability and motivation and showing up and treating it as if your boss is looking over your shoulder. So there's
I'm curious,
a whole bunch to it.
Curious for you, Travis, what would you recommend, or what have you done yourself to maybe take on these fears in, it could be in the business arena and revolve around business, although I think people are attached to the results of that, and it might be more difficult to go play there and fail forward faster there. Yeah. Is there like another training ground where people could go to train themselves to be impervious or hardened to failure and be able to seek that out, be able to go after that uncomfortability and face it head on? Yeah,
you bet. It's just action. Rather than thinking about it, so many people just try and think, they're like, I'm going to think my way into confidence. I'm going to read the books. I'm going to listen to the audio. I'm going to, attend the seminars. I'm going to think and analyze. And what we do is we just ended up taking ourselves into the abyss. Yeah. Again, thinking doesn't build confidence. Activity builds that confidence and breaks through that fear. So it's back to the word try. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm just going to try it. If I win, great. If it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, hey, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to, it's not about being bad or failure. It's about just continuing to learn and to grow and to expand. And again, it's very difficult to do this alone. Right? Because we make so much meaning about it, and we all get in our own heads, and we just become immobilized so that we don't try and we don't in action, and we get stuck in procrastination. I mean, how many people out there right now are stuck in procrastination? You need to make the calls, you need to do the networking, the different action steps you need to be doing for the business, but how many of you are really doing it consistently? Being honest, right? Literally being honest. Not many. And that's because we get stuck in this whole procrastination based on fear. And that's why the tribe. We can't do this alone. So it's just being around, whether it's a mastermind, joining a mastermind, hiring a coach. I mean, I've always felt the best is one-on-one. Like, dude, find somebody that's done what you want to do, that's doing what you want to do, that's proven that they're doing it with and for others. So not just themselves, but actually they're, time tested, that they can serve and support others as well. And lock arms, man. Roll up your sleeves, surrender, trust, be coachable. That's a big one I see too. Is people I was gonna ask that specifically around that because I'm sure there's lots of people who want a coach, and as a mentor and coach yourself, what do you recommend to people so that they can be more coachable, so that they can be more adaptive to the feedback that they get and the change? Totally. Great question. Number one is just to, again, get back to self-awareness. So, the miracle morning, the meditation, like really taking a look at who they're being throughout the day, their actions. So almost kind of like stepping outside of themselves and becoming the observer, looking in like, whoa, did you just say that? And whoa, did you just do that? And if you do that, if you start taking that time, start making more of a habit out of it, that's when you really begin to see things that like just don't work for you. So that's certainly number one. And then again, getting a mentor, getting somebody that can help you see some of these things that you just can't see yourself. We're so close to our own stuff. So that would be it, is hire a coach. Really. I mean, it's a lot of times people say, I'm afraid, I'm not sure, if I want to make the investment, I'm not sure I'll get the return on the investment. You always will. Whether it comes in a month or 3 months or 6 months or whenever it comes, it's going to come. Yeah. So, it's just about breaking through that. You mentioned being coachable, and this is something I see a lot. It's something where, when I talk with a strategy session and really kind of interviewing a potential client, one of the things I really look for is, are they coachable? Because I certainly can't help them. I can't help them to get the results that they want if they're not coachable. Most people are not coachable because they're so in their own way, because they're unconscious. Again, they're not conscious of who they're being and what's going on, and they're stuck in the victim mode. right? Most of us as humans we're programmed. The ego wants us to be victims, wants us to blame other people and blame circumstances and woe is me and things should be different and I should be further along in life and I should have more money and I should be more fit and I should, right? We should all over ourselves, right? You heard that before? And we absolutely do that because the ego is programmed to keep us in that victim mode. And then of course we've got media, we've got television and print media and social media. And, the thing you do on social media is you're looking at everybody's highlight reels of their trips to Cabo and this and that. And they're like, well, Travis gets to go to Cabo. Why don't I get to go? And then you start judging and start comparing. You start doing all, and I do it. And I look at leaders and I look at all these guys. I'm like, God, I'm doing okay, but man, look at these guys. They're doing so much better. And then we start to really kind of pull our self-worth down, and then we become a victim, and then we just get in our own way. We start over-analyzing things to the point where we're just not coachable. We have it handled. We know it all, right? As opposed to the biggest secret, the biggest turnaround for me was I was like, I am just going to surrender no matter what I know or what I think I know and just be a humble student and a humble servant and just let God take care of the rest. And I tell you, brother, that was the absolutely pinnacle turning point in my entire life and my career.
Was there a specific moment where that happened, or like a mentor, a specific mentor who was challenging you in a specific way, or do you remember when that was?
Over and over and over, many mentors just beating the shit out of me over the years. I came out of Merrill Lynch, young, successful. I think I had it together, and then so the cancer was a big one. That was like a big whoa, wake up call. Yeah. Who are you, right? I mean, what do you really want? So that woke me up. But then you come out of that, and all of a sudden that ego starts coming back, and that pride starts coming back. You start having some successes, and then you start owning it like, this is all about me. I created this. And then boom, and then we fall, and then it's this self-sabotage. So it's that cycle that we tend to go through. But we really don't need that cycle if we can just focus on and get clear and conscious. Wake up to the fact that we don't know it all, and we're not that cool, and we're not, all that and everything else. And we're really, if we could just be humble servants and really serve and support others, providing as much value as we possibly can to other people, regardless if we get paid or not. Getting paid is great, but just focus on the value. The money's going to come, and the success and the peace of mind and the security, and I think everything that most people are after.
Man, so powerful. Dude, I'm loving this. And this is gold.
Yeah,
baby! If you have any questions for Travis, drop them in the comments right now. We had Elle. She commented, overanalysis causes paralysis. Curtis said, design a life. And Elle mentioned those book titles that you wrote or talked about earlier. So, Elle, thanks for writing those down. And Travis, what's the best piece of wisdom that you've ever received from a coach or mentor?
Ooh, that's a big one, man. The best piece. I think just be coachable. Surrender. Just surrender, man. Just get out of your own way, surrender, trust, whether that's God, whether that's the universe, whether it's the specific coach, whatever it is like, just trust and surrender. And it sounds easy enough, but it's a scary thing to do for most people. It's scary for me to do in the very beginning as well. But the more that you do it, it's like a muscle. When you work that muscle out, it just gets easier and easier and more comfortable and more natural. And it's just a part of who you become. So surrender. Again, just surrender.
I love it. Allowing, the art of allowing, such a magical thing. Such a magical thing. So, Travis, you're very, energetically attractive, like magnetic. You pull things to you. Like, we can tell you have a gravitational field of awesomeness. How did you develop that? What does that take?
Good. It's the routine. Yeah. It's absolutely the routine. So it's, the miracle morning, it's the stretching, it's the reading, it's the breathing, it's daily cardio, daily exercise. So constantly, moving my blood, I spend a lot of time in nature. So, we've got up around our property here. I do my daily dog walks with my pups. And so just get out there and take it in and just feel it and just connect with it. So yeah, it's a process. It's just about managing my state consistently, because I've got a dark side. We've all got a dark side. I've been in dark places. In fact, I'm coming out of a dark place. Over the last month and a half, 2 months ago, I got the flu really, really bad. I mean, the worst that I've ever had in my entire life. Everybody here in town was sick, and I never get the flu. I got my flu shots this year as well, but because a lot of it was mental, I was just, I opened up that state to allow this to come in, and brother, it kicked my ass. I mean, I literally didn't leave the couch for 10 days, just like all the symptoms that you can imagine. And it's a pretty dark place, because then I started going into scarcity. I wasn't able to serve, and I wasn't able to connect with my tribe, and I felt so isolated, and it just really got to a dark place. So, I mean, it took me 10 days, 2 weeks to kind of pull out of that. But fortunately, again, we can pull out of that. Everyone listening, you're feeling it. I'm telling you, you can pull out of it, but you got to start to create your routines. It doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't happen. Some of us have higher energy than others, but it's manufacturing, right? It's just creating that energy and having the process, the miracle morning, getting your exercise, being around positive people is huge. If you're around downers, again, your environment, watch your environments is a huge piece of it. So I am just super, super intentional around all of that. Fortunately, I have an amazing wife. She's a professional violinist. She's a coach. She teaches children. So she's up and she's pumped and she's always excited. So she's my rock and she's my battery as well. When I'm down, man, she fires me up. And so it's about the tribe, having people around you that are up and, and can help you to get into that state as well.
I love it, man. I love it. Let's talk about legacy. What does that mean to you, and what are you creating in your legacy, Travis?
Yeah, it's really just, to touch as many people as I possibly can while I'm here, whether that's, another week, another month, another 2 years. I mean, I really don't know. 2-time cancer survivor is I really don't know. None of us really know, but I mean, I certainly really don't know. So mine isn't so much thinking about what I'm going to create so much for when I'm gone, legacy, and leave my name and how important that is. I see a lot of ego in that. Yep. Mine is more of living in the moment to the best that I possibly can, not the past, not worrying and being so anxious about the future and what I'm going to leave and all of that. It's about, hey, focus on the present, serve and support, provide as much value as we can for the people that are in our lives, that we're lucky and we're blessed and we're gifted enough to be around, do the best work that we can right now. And who knows what's going to show up in the future, man. I mean, really, none of us do. So legacy's sort of an awkward, a lot of people are they want to build something to have their name live on. For me, it's not so much about that. Mine's much more about in the moment, in the present.
I love it, man. I love it. What is one characteristic, if you could supercharge this characteristic about yourself, what would that one thing, if you could turn the knob up to 10, 11, 12 on that one characteristic, what would you do? What would you change? Or
probably to be just relentless, just absolutely relentless. So no matter what, no matter what comes my way, the ups, the downs, the exciting things, the challenges, the fears, all the stuff that comes, but just to be relentless through all of it and just feel that power from being in that state, and then continue to just push it and multiply it and expand that energy. There's so much power around it. Right. And just not quitting, being consistent, being persistent, facing your fears, pushing through your fears, growing, and just being relentless, I think.
What does being relentless for the rest of 2018 look like for you?
Oh, man, we got some stuff going on. So super excited. So I've just got amazing people in my life. And like you mentioned, the more that we appreciate it, the more that we attract it. So it's building our tribe, connecting with more super cool people, serving, supporting, just growing them, growing us, growing everyone together, enjoying that. Of course, growing the business, growing the income. I mean, we're we're doing very well, and we're on a fantastic trajectory for that. And the benefit, or really the most exciting aspect, is I'm not focusing on that. I'm just focusing on the relationships and providing that value. More freedom in my life. I want to go heli skiing next year, so I'm really working off the bucket list, now versus later. Yes. So, spending more time with friends and doing more, road biking in Northern California in the wine country. We're doing that this year, and Cabo next week. So adventure, a lot of adventure, a lot of play time, a lot of rejuvenation time, meeting new people and doing that with new people is really what I'm excited about this year.
Yeah. And I hear like relentless as an access to living the most fulfilled life. And that includes play, adventure, challenging yourself to grow, earn more money, impact more people, travel, all of it. It's just like that relentlessness of who can I truly be and become.
Yeah, play the game, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a game, if we're going to play it, why not play it full out while we can? I mean, why not? I mean, if we've got a game that's worthy of playing, and when I say that, you see, that's where most people say, oh, I would love to have a game like that, but they just don't have that game. They're sitting in their cubicle and they're at work and like, I just want to be passionate. I want to have a game. That's another bit of advice is find your game.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, whether it's a new business, it's a partnership, it's a product, it's a tribe, starting your own tribe. I mean, Facebook groups, you can have a group up in 10 minutes, man. Start attracting cool people in and start getting your mastermind. Doesn't cost you a dime. You got Facebook Lives. I mean, so much we can do around this. So figure out what your game is. Again, tough to do on your own. So hire a coach, get into a tribe, get a mentor, get somebody that can help you to get that, that vision of the game around, but find your game that is worthy of playing and worthy of playing full out. And man, just play that game. And there's nothing like it, man. It's going to get you out of bed just like, whoa. And then you go to bed at night like, oh my God, what another amazing day. And then as you start to repeat the cycle, you start to, at first it'll be 1 or 2 days a week, and then you're going to come up against your shit. It just happens, right? It's part of life. But the more that we do this, the more that we could be in this state, the more consistent it becomes, to the point where it just becomes natural. It just becomes habit. But it starts with that first step of, what's your game, man? Are you playing a game that inspires you to get your ass out of bed in the morning and be excited, and to go to bed at night like fulfilled and satisfied and like, today was a great day, man. I had these conversations and I hung out with Chris and Chris's tribe, and right? I mean, there's so much opportunity right now. It is insane how much opportunity right now. If we could just get past this little living, this small living, and this fear, try it, trust it, get out there, know you're going to fail, but you're going to learn from the failure. And why not, man? Play that game.
That's right. That's right, man. And one more final kind of cherry on top question. If you could choose to have one thought as the last thought that you ever think, what would that thought be?
Whoa. Oh, man. You should let me think about this before these questions, man. That's a big one right there. One thought, my last thought, love. Yeah, I mean, it would just be love. Yeah. One thought of just, being so grateful, gratitude and grateful of just the loving relationships and just this wonderful life. So gratitude and love, I think, would be it. That's the way I want to check out. I want to be in my bed with my wife, nice and cozy. Yeah. In that state, or skiing off a cliff, one of the two. But I want it to be quick and easy. So one of the two. This is it. I'm grateful. All the way. Come on. It's over. Got to be a quick, great way to go, man. Doing what I love.
I love it, man. I've never asked anyone that question, so you did great.
It's a great one.
I love it, man. I love it. So,
right,
Travis,
on, brother.
How do people stay connected with you, and what do you want them to do next, man?
Yeah, you bet. Come join our tribe. Come hang out. So we've got our Facebook group. It's lifestylebusinesstribe.com. We'll take you to our Facebook group. We'd love to have you. Come on over and let us know who you are and what you're up to and what you want, what you're excited about, the game that you're playing, the game that you want to create, and how we can help you. How we can support you to live into that and to really begin to express that fully. So we got a kick-ass tribe. Love to have each of you. It's lifestylebusinesstribe.com.
Boom. Love it. Dude, Travis, you are full of energy, man. Boom! Full of energy, full of wisdom, full of life. Thank you for sharing it with our tribe here. And you
Awesome.
are a tribe builder, community. Dude, I love it, man. Thank you for who you are and what you bring to this world. And this is just the beginning, man.
Right on, brother. It's an honor. Thank you for having me and hanging out with your tribe and all. It's been an absolute pleasure and an honor, my friend.
Thank you, man. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Peace, brother.
What did I tell you? That man is amazing. He knows so much. I hope you wrote down and took notes during that session. That guy he will change your business forever. We will put his link below of his business and his coaching so that you can get in contact with him. And please take advantage of that discount. I mean, that's incredible that he's doing that. Thank you again, Travis, for that. Guys, comment below if you're getting value out of this today. Remember, if you've missed anything from today or the days previous, make sure that you grab the recording sessions. It's 50% off right now. You definitely don't want to miss that. So that way you can go back if you missed anything, or if you have questions about anything, you can go back and review all this information that you're getting. And make sure to go on social media and tell others about this so that they can catch, if they missed the last 3 days, maybe they can catch tomorrow, because we still have a lot going on. Comment below if you're getting value out of today. Comment below what you've learned. Travis Greenlee, what an amazing guy. Remember that discount? We'll put it in the comments. Definitely check that out. His services. If you're starting a business or you're starting a consultant business, you definitely want to talk to Travis. He is the one that will make you successful. I promise you that. I am so excited to announce our next speaker. We're going to do more of a question answer scenario with Trey Edmunds, the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers and native of Danville, Virginia, right here from where I'm from. Great guy. He is an author of a children's book. He is a co-owner of a clothing line. He is a motivational speaker around the U.S. And not to mention, he's a professional athlete, a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Farrell Trey Edmunds III played college at Virginia Tech in Maryland. He signed with New Orleans Saints as an undrafted free agent in 2017. He is the son of the Hall of Famer Farrell Edmunds. He is the oldest brother of 3 brothers, Terrell and Tremaine, who are also in the NFL. He is the author of a children's book. He is the co-owner of a clothing line, and he is a motivational speaker around the world. Not to mention, he is the running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, welcome, Trey Edmunds.
So, Trey, in case anyone doesn't know, let's talk a little bit about your background, who your father is, and you're the oldest of 3 brothers, and who your 2 other younger brothers are.
So good day, everyone. My name is Trey Edmunds. I played running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was a former running back for the New Orleans Saints. I attended college at Virginia Tech as well as the University of Maryland. I'm a Danville, Virginia native. I went to high school at Dan River High School, and I'm Danville, Virginia up and up. You know, my father, Farrell Edmunds Jr., he played in the NFL. He played 7 active seasons, 5 for the Miami Dolphins and 2 for the Seattle Seahawks. My mother, Felicia Edmunds, she ran she ran college track at Southern Illinois University. My 2 brothers, the middle one, Terrell Edmunds, he played safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So me and him are teammates. And my youngest brother, Tremaine Edmunds, he plays linebacker for the Buffalo Bills. So a family full of athletes and a family full of sports. But that's a little bit about me. I've been playing sports my entire life. You know, I've always been around it. I've never swayed away from it. Sports is a huge part of my life, and I'm just happy to be here today to talk to you guys.
I appreciate that. So if any viewers didn't know who you are, I doubt they didn't, but if they didn't, now they do. So What was it like growing up with two brothers playing sports? Your father, you know, a Hall of Famer. What kind of pressure was that on you as far as playing football? You know, and growing up to be, you know, the best that you could be.
So I can remember back when I was in third grade. Third grade was the first time I ever played any type of, I guess, officiated real sports. You know, I definitely grew up playing in the YMCA league, but as far as like playing for my county or playing for the city or playing for a school, it was third grade. You know, it was my first time ever getting on the football field. It was my first time ever playing basketball, you know, with it being officiated. I played T-ball. I played soccer. I played it all. You know, I played it all. But third grade was the first time I ever did it. And like I said, man, sports has always been a part of my life. It's been a part of my family's life. So it was just something that was destined to happen. You know, it was something that eventually was going to happen one way or another. You know, one thing that I'm super proud and super appreciative of is that my parents never forced sports on us. You know, I could truly say that because it's the real deal. It's the truth, you know. Being that my father played in the NFL and being that my mother ran track in college, a lot of people think that, hey, our parents forced us to play sports. They forced us to go out on the football field or they forced us to compete, but they really didn't. You know, they left the decision up to us, and we authentically, you know, kind of gravitated towards it. You know, I can remember I was in third grade playing football. They called it the B team in the county. You know, I played for Kentucky B team, Kentucky Elementary B team, and I was one of the littlest things out there. I know it's kind of crazy now looking at me now, but I was one of the littlest things out there just running around. My helmet was super big. I had on real big shoulder pads, and I didn't know anything. You know, I didn't know what a cadence was. I didn't know what, you know, a sweep was. I didn't know how to catch a pass, you know, after running a route. All I knew was what I saw on TV and, you know, what I heard people say that my father did when he played and the stuff that I watched other people do, you know, but I didn't know anything for myself. So third grade was when it really started to get going for me. And I can just say that year was very, very interesting, you know, and I'm using interesting for better or worse words, but it was definitely interesting. But, you know, my brothers and I, you know, it was something that we had to work at. You know, we didn't come out just being good. You know, it wasn't something that we just came out and was just better than everyone at. You know, sports was something that we really put the time in. You know, I can remember my parents making us stay after practice and do workouts early in the morning before school. But it just started to be routine because it was something that we knew we wanted. I can never forget my parents asked us at a young age, guys, listen, is sports something that you want to pursue at the next level being college? My answer was yes. You know, so they mapped out a way in which I could get there, and that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't take any shortcuts. I was never always the best person out there. I really worked. You know, I started from ground zero and worked my way up, and it was some good days, it was some bad days, you know, but one thing that never got substituted was the amount of time we spent and the amount of work we put in. You know, I think that's very pivotal for nowadays too, because man, like it's so many people trying to get to, you know, the professional level of playing sports that they can only take a certain amount. You know, it's a small number of people that they can accept each and every year. It's a small amount of people that colleges and universities can accept. You know, so it's kind of like a stair step or a ladder. Like you have to get to one step before you can get to the next. Then once you get to the next, you have to get past this step. So it's constantly just evolving, but, you know, at a pace in which you're competing with everybody else in the world. You know, so that's kind of like, that's kind of what really got me started and kind of what got me going and kind of some of the footsteps that I took, you know, started in third grade. You know, I'm now 26 years old, so I've been at it for a while, but that's really how I got started playing football.
That's incredible. So let's talk about that real quick. What is the mindset and the difference in physicality and the mindset when you go from college to the NFL?
I tell people all the time, you know, in high school it's a different type of football than college, and in college it's a different type of football in the NFL. Believe it or not, and I'm definitely going on record saying this, believe it or not, I think college was the hardest period as far as working and training and all that stuff, lifting weights and conditioning. This is just my opinion. I personally think college was the hardest period, and I'm sure some guys in the NFL could agree. Some guys probably wouldn't. Now, the NFL is definitely more strategic, and guys are better, and guys are faster, and guys are bigger. But as far as the amount of work you have to put in and the demands you have to meet, I think college holds the crown for that, hands down. You know what I'm saying? And what I think what really separates each is the mental aspect. Of course, physical, you're going to get bigger, you're going to get faster, you're going to get stronger, but that comes with it. That comes with the territory. But what really separates you is the things you learn along the way. I always tell myself, if I could go back and if I could just know some of the things that I wish I knew in high school, if I could do that, if I could go back to high school right now with the knowledge that I have for the game, oh my gosh, I'd be incredible. Now I would be number one player coming out of this state, coming out of the nation. I'd be the number one running back. College would be a breeze. High school would be a breeze. But I had to learn that it's a time and place for everything. It wasn't my time to know all of that in high school because they were going to teach me in college. And the things that they taught me in college, that was good enough to survive then. You know what I'm saying? I had to understand that each level presented its own challenges. And I couldn't, wish time away to hurry up and get to the next level, that I missed important opportunities and I missed important gadgets that I needed during that time. You know what I'm saying? So when I was in high school was difficult. Looking back now, high school wasn't that difficult. Looking back now, but hindsight is always 20/20. But when I was in high school, I had my own set of challenges. Then I moved to college. I really had some challenges in college, and I'm going to get to that later. But each level, I feel I had a different and a certain amount of challenges that I had to face that was unique for that particular time. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm in the NFL, each year is different. We all know how the NFL is. The business is crazy. We look at people playing on Sundays, and we look at, the contracts everyone's getting in Super Bowls and, going out and the money and all of that stuff. But man, I'm telling you guys, the NFL is way more than that, So the biggest difference, I think, from high school to college to the pros is definitely the mental, the things you learn, the people you meet, the conversations you have, the knowledge you pick up, man, it's impeccable. And you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to evolve.
That's awesome. That's incredible. I would have thought, pros would have definitely been harder, but I get it. You got the schooling and, like you said, the mentality of everything, and you're a lot younger and you're still learning so much. I completely understand that. So let's go through that real quick. What does your day look like? Let's go through. What does your day look like during the season? Like your morning routine. Monday, we talked about morning routine and we talked about mindset. So let's go through that real quick. While you're in season, what is your morning routine and what does your day look like? And when off season, if you really have an off season, because I know you're constantly training because you want to keep going, but what does that look like?
So let me break it down real quick. So the reason why I said college is tougher than the NFL or than the pros is this is why. So a typical college day, right? So everyone knows in order to play college football or any type of college sport, you have to be eligible. In order to be eligible, you have to go to class, and not only go to class, but you have to pass classes. So you have to be attentive. You have to go to study hall. You have to get tutors. There were times where I stayed at the library till 2 or 3 a.m. At Virginia Tech, we had this thing called the Math Emporium. It was like a library, but it was set up with a lot of computers. I think it had maybe over 500 computers, and people would just go there. It was 24 hours. You had access to get tutors there. You could take tests there. They had different programs on the computer where you could go and do practice problems and quizzes and tests and all types of stuff. So this is what it comes down to. So in college, right? You wake up in the morning, you have breakfast check at about 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Some people have workouts right after. Some people have workouts in the evening. So the people who have workouts right after, they go and work out. The other people, they go to study hall. You go to study hall for an hour, boom. You do that while the other people are in class, they're doing that. Then you switch. So depending on how many classes you have or how many credits you have or whatever's going on, with your course load, what we did at Virginia Tech, we did all of our school first. You know what I'm saying? So we have all of our school material first. So we had study hall, we had breakfast check, we had workouts, then we had study hall. After study hall, we went straight to classes. Boom. You may have 2 or 3 classes per day, maybe even more, maybe 3 or 4. You'll do classes. Now it's about midday, lunchtime. Most guys will go and grab lunch. You get about an hour, hour and a half to go and grab lunch. Next thing you know, it's time to start getting ready for practice. Now you're looking at 2 o'clock, 2:30, and now you have to get ready for practice. So you've been going all day. You've been drained. You had lunch, but it was a quick and rush lunch. But now it's time to get ready for practice now. And you want to have a good practice because that's going to be the only reason that you get to play on Saturdays. Coaches evaluate you in practice, so you have to go out there and give it your all each and every practice. So you have to find energy from somewhere. So after you eat lunch, after you're ready for practice, boom, you go out there and practice. Practice is high intense for 2.5 hours, nothing less. High intense for 2.5 hours. And I'm sure anybody that's ever played a collegiate sport can attest. So boom, you go out there, you practice for 2.5 hours. After that, you get treatment. Whatever, if anything's hurting on your body, you do that. You get in the ice tubs, you get in the warm tubs, you get in the jacuzzis. You do any of that stuff, right? Boom, you do that. Next thing you know, think the day's over? Not quite. Now you go right back to study hall where you came from early in the day, and now you're doing homework from those classes that you had earlier. So now we're looking at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you're just getting to your homework. You've been going nonstop. You're just getting to your homework. Boom. So you do that. Some people have tutors at the end of the day, some don't. After that, you have dinner. Most of the dining halls close around 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So you went there, you had dinner, and finally it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and you're just starting to digest your day. Now, I do remember some days study hall didn't end till 10. So some days you have to go and get your dinner and bring it back to study hall. And the study hall block that time, I think it was like Mondays and Fridays. The block was Mondays and Thursdays. The block was 8 to 10 p.m. So you would go get your dinner between like 6:30 and 7:30, bring that back to study hall, and you're there for 2 hours. You're back at your dorm at 10:30 p.m. just to do it all over again. Now that's college. Now, stay with me. The pros, a lot of people think it's just on Sundays, or we're living this lavish lifestyle during the week, and on Sundays we come and compete, and then in the off season we get paid. Don't quite work like that. Typical pro day during season. So there's no school, there's no study hall, but there are so many meetings. I'm talking about so many meetings. So with Pittsburgh right now, we usually start our day around 8 o'clock. I think we have our first team meeting at 8 o'clock. Usually have to come in and get breakfast before that. We have a team meeting that usually lasts about 45 minutes. So that puts us at about 8:45. Boom, you got about 15 minutes to transition to special teams meeting. So we have a team meeting for about 45 minutes. Sometimes it goes to an hour, just depending on what week it is or what's going on, or if there's other business outside of the opponent that week. It could be social justice, it could be community work, it could be acknowledgement of players. Like, it could be anything, so you have to take into account of all of that. So you meet with the head coach and the entire team, the entire staff for the team meeting. They usually have, let's just say, an hour. Boom. From that point, you have a transitional phase in which you go to special teams meetings. Special teams meetings last about 45 minutes to an hour. So we're in special teams meeting. We're putting the game plan in. We're digesting film, going through it. We're taking notes. Like, we literally have a chalkboard in our meeting room, like literally a blackboard, a chalkboard, whatever you want to call it, where the coach goes on there. He fills one whole side up with notes, for whatever. So say, for instance, on a Wednesday, we're doing punt and punt return. So on the right side of the board is all the punt notes. On the left side of the board is all the punt return notes. So we go in there, we copy our notes. Everybody has a binder, everybody has a book bag, everybody has a notebook, just like you're in school, just like college, but it's not technically schoolwork, it's your job. So boom, you do that. After special teams usually have either a unit meeting. So the unit meetings consist of either offense or defense. So from that point, we meet with the coordinators. All the offense goes with the offensive coordinator. All the defense goes with the defense coordinator. And boom, they lay the whole game plan on us. We go through the scouting report of the team we're playing. They tell us the attributes of each player. We literally go through every player on the roster, like literally no shortcuts. So we're going through all the players, taking notes on that. They usually have some type of PowerPoint presentation or some type of presentation or visual, so we can just see and not only, just hear them talk. Like, we can actually see stuff that's matching with what they're saying. So we're doing that, we're writing that stuff down. Next thing you know, we're putting in what we're running that week. So a lot of people think that, at the beginning of the season, you go through training camp, you put in plays, and those are the plays that you run for all year. That's wrong. So each week, presents new plays. Like it's a different game plan each week. So let's just say, for instance, we're playing, the Cleveland Browns, and the next week we're playing Cincinnati Bengals. Well, the Cleveland Browns game plan is going to be completely different, than the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's how it is for 16 games, 17 weeks, including the bye week. Like, you have 16 different games with 16 different identities, and so I'm saying all that to say you can't just coast through these meetings, right? Like, you really have to be attentive. You have to be paying attention, because if not, you'll miss things. And if you miss things, you won't perform on Sundays. And if you don't perform on Sundays, you'll get cut and you'll be jobless. So, okay, cool. We do our coordinator meeting. We finish watching film. They usually last about an hour, hour and a half. Boom, we're doing that. Now we go to our position meetings, each position. So me, of course, I'm a running back, so I go with my running back coach. We go in. His one usually gives us about 5-10 minutes to stretch or go to the restroom, or if you want to get a drink. They're real big on hydrating, so we always have drinks and, snacks and all that stuff throughout the facility just to keep us hydrated. And, they give us breaks so we can stand up, because we're sitting down so many hours in a day. Like, so many hours we just sit down writing and, watching film or watching the presentation. So boom, we go to our coordinators meeting. And from that point, we literally dig deeper into what we learned in a unit meetings with our offensive coordinator. So now we're really breaking down tendencies. So like with running backs, we really watch, linebackers. We watch defensive linemen. We watch defensive backs. So that we're breaking down each individual positions by the names of the players. So let's just say, for instance, I'm using my brother. If we're playing the Buffalo Bills, like, we're no longer calling middle linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're calling, on this play, you have to block number 49, Trey Edmunds, if he blitzes up the A gap. Like, it gets way more personal. So, like, you're knowing all these guys that you admire and that you look at on Sundays and that we all idolize. You're knowing all these people on first name basis, and you really get to see them through the ins and through the outs. So we're really breaking that down. Boom. We're taking notes in that. We're putting a practice schedule together while we're taking notes of the game plan. So we're going through that. That usually takes around an hour and a half itself. From that point, we have a small period of a small window where we can go and get lunch. Most of the time, lunch is grab and go. Cafeteria people are wonderful. They always have it ready for us. They have options. They keep it healthy. So it's something that we can just pick up, boom, eat, hydrate, go to the locker room. Now it's pre-practice time, so pre-practice requires a lot. It takes a lot to get a lot of our bodies going, mine included. Like, it takes a lot. Like, I have to stretch, I have to put heat on. Sometimes I have to get in a hot tub. I have to put, rubbing stuff all on my body. Like, it takes a lot for me I have to get rolled out. Like, it takes a lot. So that whole process takes about, 45 minutes. I have to get my ankles taped, my wrist taped. So I'm doing that. All that process takes about 45 minutes. We've done all that, and it's probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30, right? So we jam-packed all of that until now about 1 o'clock, 1:30. From that point, we go to practice. We practice for about 2.5 hours. Once again, just like college, if you want to play on Sundays, if you want to keep your job, you have to go out and practice hard each and every week so the coaches can evaluate you to put you in the game on Sundays. Because if not, there's no need, because you're not even going to play. So boom, we're going to do that. Practice is always intense. We're doing that. We practice hard. After practice, we come in. We have a period of time where most guys will lift then. Some guys wait till later in the evening to lift, but some guys will lift immediately after practice just to keep the body tight, just to keep your body right. Boom, you're doing that. Some guys go and get rehab. They ice down. They get stretched, whatever. Boom, you're doing that. After you do that, you shower, you get yourself together, and then you have another meeting. Usually what you do in the afternoon meetings, you watch the previous practice, you watch every single period. So that 2.5 hours you had outside, you're literally watching every single play from it. Like, you watch it with your coordinators, you watch it with your position coach, and if you're on special teams, you watch it with the special teams coach. And a lot of times with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Tomlin is in the room, so he's watching it with you. So there's really like no room to slack, no room to, take a nap or any of that stuff. Like, no, that's non-existent. Like, that doesn't happen. So boom, you watch practice, and at that point, you can grab dinner and go home. We're looking at about 5:30 at this point. So if you guys stay with me the entire time, we're talking about an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. workday, and that's nonstop. You know what I'm saying? Like we have those breaks in between, but that's nonstop. And that's usually how our in-season schedule goes.
That's incredible. So college really does get you ready for the NFL. That's amazing. All right. So we've talked a lot about football, and we know you're an incredible football player, but let's talk about some other things that you've done in life that I'm just amazed about. The businessman and the entrepreneur that you've become, you and your brothers. I mean, from writing a children's book to coming up with a clothing line to doing motivational speaking on and basically becoming an influencer on social media with your social media motivating speeches and your talks. So let's talk about that a little bit. What made y'all write a children's book? I find that fascinating. You had 3 NFL players and they wrote a children's book. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to write a children's book because we wanted to do something different. You know, we see a lot of people, they write books. A lot of people write memoirs or autobiographies, or other people write biographies on them, or a lot of people do it after they've retired. And they write a book about their story or their journey. All the way from when they were a kid, like what I was saying when we were in 3rd grade. So a lot of people do it that way. So we just wanted to do something that provided some uniqueness. Like we know that there are people who write children's books, but I think, and we thought that writing a children's book will will become a part of a lesser crowd or part of a lesser group than writing a regular book. I know a big dream and aspiration of myself and my brothers was becoming authors, but we didn't necessarily know how to get to that point. We wanted to become authors, but we didn't know how to get to that point. So, we pitched the idea to our parents and our team, and they made it all happen. And I must say, writing a book was definitely a strenuous and tedious and long process. And I don't say any of those words lightly. Like it really took some time. Like, and our book was self-published, so a lot of times we had to go back and we had to make the corrections ourselves over and over and over and over again. And we work with an amazing team. I have the book right here. It's called My Brother's Keeper: What This Means to Me. We work with 2 incredible guys, being Kyrie Robertson and Frank Fulton Jr. And they just made the process go way smoother, but I definitely want to take my hats off and thank both of my brothers, my parents, our entire team. Like I said, Kyrie Robertson, Frank Fulton Jr. for just making this whole thing come to fruition. It turned a dream. It started a dream, then it turned into reality. And from reality, man, now people out here reading our books. Like for the last 2 weeks, I think I've gotten a text message or a DM on social media of someone sending me a picture or a video of them or their kids reading a book. And that just brings so much joy to our hearts, man, because it's just another way that we can give back, and that's what we're all about. I know my brothers and I, we're always constantly trying to figure out different ways to reach different crowds. We've reached people our age, we've reached even adults, we've reached athletes. So now we wanted a way to kind of reach the kids, to reach the people that may not necessarily know what's going on yet, but our hopes is, maybe when they're 5 or maybe when they're 4 or 6 or, get to an age in which they're able to kind of understand a little bit more, they'll go back and revert to this book and say, hey, well, Trey, and Tremaine were some guys that looked like us, that came from our place, that came from our city. They didn't necessarily come from one of these big cities, and they made it, and not necessarily just in football, but they made it in life, and we're still making it, but we just want to use our platform, to speak to people, and not only just with words. We want to be able to speak to people with different things, and the book is just one of them. And also, we're doing a array of things. Like we have a clothing line. We're trying to push our brand. Our brand is called 3E Boys. That's just what we are. Our last name is Edmunds, and it's 3 of us. We all made it to the NFL. So, man, we're super proud of that, and we don't take it lightly. So what we try to do is try to push ourselves out and try to spread ourselves, not only, for people can wear our clothes, but so people can see that, hey, like, oh, okay, cool. There is hope. There's hope for me. There's hope for my brother. There's hope for my sister. For parents, there's hope for my children, because at the end of the day, like, who would have ever thought, three young men, 3 brothers coming from the same high school, under the same roof with the same parents, all 3 make it to the NFL. Like all of our paths were different, but the end goal was the same, you know? So that's all we try to do is just show you guys and show everybody else, our communities, everybody else that's listening, that's watching, that, hey, man, there's different outlets, you know? If you want to teach, go do that. If you want to preach, go do that. Like, if you want to be a motivational speaker, there's outlets for that too. Like, if you want to be a doctor, there's schools, there's outlets for that too. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do, you know? So, like I said, man, our book was very inspiring. We really appreciated everybody that had hands in making it and making our dream come true. You know, man, and we're just super proud. You know, this is definitely not going to be the last book we do. We're going to do more. But, you know, we're definitely living on a high right now on this one. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys for the support that you've shown us thus far.
Definitely. And I can personally say, you know, I've seen the effect y'all have had on the community and the support y'all have given to the community here in Danville. It's, you know, just been amazing. You know, people are always talking about things that y'all are doing and you see things you're doing. And it's great because you're not out there like doing things like, hey, look at me. You're kind of doing things quietly and getting notarized because of what you're doing and how humble you and your brothers are for doing it. So that's just amazing. Let's talk about real quick your Tuesdays with Trey. How did that start? And you know, what is your ultimate goal for that?
My Tuesday talks with Trey started because of COVID. You know, believe it or not, like I'm sure a lot of people started new things and new trends and ventured out and experimented with COVID. Like I can never forget, man, last year around this time, like, yes, around this specific time in March last year, like everything just went ballistic. Like things we've never seen before. Everybody was just a part of, you know, a life that we've never experienced or a life that we've never heard about before. So everybody just had to adjust. Like we all had to learn on the fly. We had to make things happen. Like we had to create a lot of things. And that's what I like to, you know, think of myself as a creator. Like, make no mistake about it. I love speaking. Like I'm an extrovert. I'm not an introvert at all. Like I love speaking. I love telling my story. And over the years, I've known that I've had an impact on a lot of people. And I'm definitely not saying that to boast or brag or anything, but just hearing the testimonies come back from people. Now, whether that's older, younger, my peers, whoever, like, I like to think that I have a gift of putting positive affirmations and positive energy into people, you know? So last year in quarantine, what I really wanted to do was just take that into more of a mainstream. You know, I wanted more people to hear it. And I wanted to take it far past, you know, a conversation with my brother, or a conversation with my friend, or a conversation with a classmate or a teammate. You know, I kind of wanted to speak to more people at one time, you know? So I tried it. I tried my hand. You know, one day I just got my phone. Like I had no equipment, no camera, no lighting, no anything. I just had my phone. And I just said, you know what? One day I'm just going to talk. You know, I'm just going to talk, and whoever receives it, receive it. And whoever don't. You know, I got to a comfortable state in which I was just, you know, I was just like, you know what? Forget it. I'm throwing everything in. Like I have nothing to lose. Like everyone's at home. I'm sure someone's going to watch it. Like at least one person's going to watch it, right? Like everybody could just click past it, right? So I was thinking of that in my head the entire time. And, you know, guys, like I just got to a point where I put all fear aside, you know, and I just took a leap of faith, man. Like I always, like I said, I always wanted to public speak, man. And I did it a lot in church growing up. And I said speeches. I can never forget. I was in 5th grade. I said a presidential speech. I was John Kerry. I said the Martin Luther King speech in Danville's Mall one time, the entire speech. So I knew it was in me, but the older I got, I kind of shied away from it a little bit. So quarantine really helped me out a lot, guys. Quarantine really helped me out a lot. COVID, it allowed me to show my creative side. It allowed me to put my fear aside, and it allowed me to just do it, you know? So now I've been doing it for a year now, and man, like the support, you know, everything that I've gotten back from it, man, has been nothing short of amazing, you know, and I want to continue to grow it. I didn't quite know what I wanted to get from it, but now it's starting to come to me. Like what I want to get from it is to be able to help or be able to change someone's life. And that's it, life. And that's it. Like I want to be able to come in and some of the things that I say or some of the stories that I tell, I want someone to be able to listen to it, look at it and say, you know what? You saved me from making a bad decision today. You stopped me from doing something that I have been doing my whole life that didn't You know, I want to be that person, you know, along, and it could be along with other people, but I just want to be looked at as somebody that was a hero in someone else's life, a hero outside of just football. You know, like I want some of the things that I went through to inspire other people. And I definitely think that the places that I'm coming from, the perspectives that I'm saying a lot of these things, I definitely think that I have a unique way of telling a story in which I can get certain people to listen. And granted, every message is not for everyone. That's why I try to diversify my messages, you know, but I'm learning, I'm having fun doing it. I'm receiving a lot of great feedback. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm going to continue to do it, and wherever it takes me, it takes me. You know, I'm putting all my faith in, all my eggs are in. I'm not holding anything back. And every Tuesday, I'm coming with a message, and it's for you guys. You know, it's for my community, it's for my peers, it's for my friends, like it's for anybody. And I just hope that one Tuesday or multiple Tuesdays, I have a message that you can relate to.
That's awesome. And we will definitely, guys, we'll put in the comments a link to his book, to the 3E Boys clothing line, and to Tuesdays with Trey as well. We'll put all that in the comments so that you can get to all that and see all that and be able to buy anything that you want. Also, I think he's going to give away 5 3E Boy shirts, signed shirts. So that's incredible. So we'll talk about that later on how you get a chance to win one of those. So let's talk about, you kind of segue into it. So the mentality and the mindset that you need, and the work ethic that you need in business and in NFL, they're a lot similar, right? I mean, like you said, you have to have that positive attitude. You have to have that, I'm all in, nothing's going to stop me. You've been through so much adversity as far as, you know, starting your career with the Saints, going to the Steelers, going through COVID with, you know, I can't even imagine what that was like, trying to play football during COVID and having all that going on. And then with business, like you said, with starting the book, the clothing line, the motivational speaking and all that, kind of just talk about how all that together, if someone's out there listening right now and their business is struggling because of COVID, or they're an entrepreneur and they're struggling trying to get clientele, or maybe they're a young athlete and struggling, you know, to be seen. Talk about how those things intertwine and how that mindset is really what made you successful.
I think with me, sports changed my life, you know, and I know I mentioned it early, but I really mean it. Like, sports changed my life. Like, it allowed me to see things from a different lens, you know, and I'm sure everybody's sports story, or anybody who plays sports, they have a unique story or different story or different avenue they took. But for me, it allowed me to look at things different. It allowed me to put myself in other people's shoes. Sports really sat me down. It took everything away from me. So I had no other choice but to listen. I had no other choice but to look. You know, it was one point in time where the only thing I could rely on was faith. Like, I can remember, man, in college, like, I was in college for 5 years. I played one complete full year of college, right? I played one complete full year of college. So, man, I had a whole lot of time where I was just sitting down, you know, and it was injury here and injury there, and it was all types of stuff. I redshirted. So it was an array of things that happened. But, man, like, it was a point in time where, you know, going into it, with all of us athletes, you know, we all think we're going to make it, you know, to some capacity, you know, whether it's our parents telling us, or we have success in high school, we have success in middle school, or we start looking at our tapes on Huddle, whatever it is, you know, we all think that we're going to make it. But the harsh reality is, like, it's a small margin of people that actually make it, you know, and the numbers getting smaller and smaller each year. So, you know, I think first and foremost, I had to come to the realization, I had to ask myself, what does making it mean? You know, does making it mean just being in the NFL, or does making it mean being successful in anything I do? You know, and being sat down, I had a lot of time, you know, to think and to meditate on that. You know, like I said, I had nothing but my faith. That's it. And I'm a big believer, you know, and I'm not pressing anything on you guys, but that's what I leaned on. I think we have to find something to lean on that's outside of our respective job or our talents or whatever we're pursuing. We have to have something else, whether it's a higher power or whatever, whether it's somebody else, a friend or whoever. We have to have something else that we can lean on, because when that thing is taken away, we can't shut down. Like, there is no way possible we can shut down. And I think what happened last March up until now, and it's continuing to happen, this whole COVID-19 and this whole coronavirus, oh man, like it's showing us guys on a daily basis that just because life gets taken away from you, you can't stop living, and I don't want nobody to miss that. Like things were shut down, jobs were lost, like people lost so much money, like so many people lost jobs. Like there were 3 months we couldn't even get in the car and go to the gas station, like grocery stores weren't open, like restaurants weren't open. Heck, Disney World wasn't open. I can never imagine Disney World closing, but God's like, it's something that no one was prepared for. It's something that no one could have ever imagined. So, so it's not just that one person was affected or your family was affected. We all were affected. Everybody in the country was affected. Everybody in the world was affected. So it's not about will adversity come. It's about when adversity comes. And I think that what COVID did, it showed us that, man, listen, you have to be multifaceted. Like you have to be able to not only be able to adjust on the fly, but you have to be able to adjust on the fly and still be successful. Because we still have families. We still have to provide. Like we still have people that were counting on us, so, and that was something I had to learn. I had to learn, like, listen, man, like, what if we don't go back to this NFL season? Like, we didn't know we were going back to the NFL season last year until the summertime. I was at home. I was on my iPad. I was doing my digital meetings, and man, I was working out with no gym to go to. Guys, like, it was tough for everybody. Like my job, the requirements for my job is to go out there, be physical, be mentally ready, and compete. And I didn't know I was going to do any of that stuff. I couldn't go lift weights. I wasn't getting the proper teaching that I was used to getting because I wasn't in front of the chalkboards that I mentioned earlier, or my coach wasn't there to walk us through assignments and, game plans and things like that. And on top of all of that stuff, it was mentally draining. Like I was tired of being in the house. I was at home for months on months on months. I couldn't go anywhere. I felt locked down, man, I just felt like everything was just going downhill. And I'm sure you guys can attest to it. But what I'm getting at, guys, is that adversity is going to come. This is not going to be the only time. Like I sure and I pray and I hope that, we can continue to take the right measures to, to end COVID-19 and end the coronavirus. And I'm sure we are. I see a lot of people and I see a lot of cities and states that's definitely, man, on the up and on the positive now. So I definitely see progress happening. But guys, it takes all of us. It's going to continue to take all of us. It's not just a thing that one person can change or one group of people can change or one city can change. Like, no, like that's not what it is. Like it's something that's affecting everybody. You know what I'm saying? So getting back to adversity, man, like it's going to come. When it comes, who knows? I like to believe that only the good man above knows, but who knows when adversity is going to come? But we have to be ready. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to be equipped, with eternal tools that's going to help us to get out of adversity when it does come. Because like I said, it's not a question of if it comes, but it's a question of when. Like guys, like we have to be able to adjust on the fly. Like when things happen, we can't sit there and complain and just sit in the sorrow and misery and make excuses, because at the end of the day, what are excuses? Like they're doing nothing. Like excuses does not excel progress. Like we're just sitting here just wallowing in it, letting time pass us. It's something that we have to learn, to be ready for. Like we have to learn to, when adversity comes, we have to be ready. And that's, I can't say that enough. Like we have to be ready. And guys, like what the coronavirus and what COVID-19 did for me, it allowed me to tap into different sides that I wasn't necessarily comfortable showing. Like it allowed me to be more creative. Like we all like to think we're creators, but are we really? What have we really done? Like how have we really been tested to be creative? Like the coronavirus made us be creative. I couldn't work out at the gym, so I had to find ways to work out in my home. There was a time, guys, I filled a whole trash bag up with water, right? And I put it inside of a t-shirt and I tied a knot at the end of the t-shirt and I used it for curls. I didn't have no lifting equipment at the time. Like I didn't have no free weights, no dumbbells. I do now because I'm ready now, but I didn't then. So I filled the trash bag up. Like I got on Google. I'm looking like, what can I do? And I typed in jailhouse workouts. Like I think criminals are some of the most creative people. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, but I think they're so creative because they have limited resources but they make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like we always wonder, how do people that get locked up come home and they're so short or they're so big? Well, they do what they have to do. You know, those that can't go out there on the yard and lift weights, they're in their room doing push-ups and dips and pull-ups off of T-shirts or whatever they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But we had to get creative. Like I was curling a trash bag filled with water. Like there was times where I stood on my front porch and I was doing dips. I put my hand on the third step and I would put my feet on the ground and I was doing dips. Like I would literally go and run miles around my neighborhood, up and down the hills. Like, man, it's an array of things I was doing. Like I would turn my shower on in my bathroom, right? Close all the doors, turn my shower on high, make it real steamy. So after my workouts, I can get somewhat of a steam room or sauna. And I would just go in there and just sweat. You know, finish the workout, go in there, sweat, boom. That's what I needed. Because I was used to, after workout, I would go in the sauna, I would go sit in the steam room. But of course, those things weren't open. You know what I'm saying? So we had to improvise. And I think that's what it comes down to, guys. We have to be able to improvise. Like, things are not always going to work out how we think they're supposed to work out. That's just life. That's going to continue to be life. Like, no matter what lane you're traveling, no matter what you want to do or what you want to pursue in life, like, man, things are never going to work out how we can picture it or how we can see it from the beginning. Like, but what's going to make us successful, what's going to make us have longevity is if we can improvise and adjust on the fly. And the reason I think sports are so similar to business or to the real world or to the world outside of, you know, sports, like people like to say, is because a lot of the same characteristics we all have. Like, you look at an entrepreneur, you look at a CEO, like they have to have a relentless attitude. They have to be able to compete. They have to be very competitive. You know, they have to have long nights and they have to constantly be working on their craft. What do we do in sports? Oh my gosh. We have to have a relentless attitude every single day. We have to compete just to keep our job. We have to compete just to be seen on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to adjust. Like, we have to make halftime adjustments. We have to make first quarter adjustments. If it's 2 minutes left in the game and we've been running something that haven't worked all game, you think we could just throw the towel in and just say, like, you know what, this team was better than us? No. Like, fan bases and organizations, and there's so many people counting on us. We can't just do that. If you're an entrepreneur, you can't just throw the towel in because everything that you've poured into, all the time, all the resources, all the money, you know, all the favors people have been giving you, you're losing everything if you just throw the towel in. So I like to think, man, that sports and business are neck and neck, man, because we exemplify some of the same traits. We use some of the same characteristics. And, man, that's why so many great people, you know, strive in business after they finish sports, because they're able to relate and they're not starting from ground zero. Not saying that they can go in and just take over someone else's business, because that's not what I'm saying, because everybody has their lane, right? Like people that are CEOs, they work their way up to get to that point, right? But a lot of athletes, you know, once we leave this realm of competing on Sundays or whatever realm you compete on, you know, I'm talking about myself and I'm referencing NFL players, so we compete on Sundays. So when we leave this realm of compete on Sundays, we have to find ways to still be successful. Like, a lot of people retire at the age of 30 or before the age of 30. Gosh, that's still a lot of living to do. You know what I'm saying? So there's still so many goals we want to reach. There's still so many aspirations we want to reach. Like, our family's still counting on us. We still have children that's looking up to us on a day-to-day basis. So we have to figure out different and new ways to create income, different and new ways to impact people, different and new ways, you know, to be a positive influence and continue to be a role model. Like, it can't just stop when you're through with sports. And I think that's that's another huge reason in which sports and business, man, like they're neck and neck, man. They're neck and neck because as a business person, as a business mind, as an entrepreneur, those guys are always trying to figure out new ways to take it to the next level. That's what it's all about. It's about starting in one spot, but never getting complacent. It's about always being hungry. Like, you have to always be hungry. Like, you have to always be willing to listen, to be mentored. You have to always be willing to take it to the next level when called upon. In order to do that, you have to be ready. In order to be ready, you have to equip yourself with tools and you have to prepare yourself. And I think that's what it comes down to, man. When adversity hits, you have to be prepared. You have to put the preparation in now while there's no adversity. So when adversity does show itself, you're ready.
That's great stuff. That is great stuff. I hope everybody here is listening. I know we're having a little bit of issues with the audio. I think there's a storm going on where he's at and where I'm at. So just to give you an idea, but That's great, man. That is some great stuff right there. What we learned in the Marine Corps, right? Adapt and overcome. And like you said, don't make excuses. Just get off your butt and do it. That's the thing I've learned being an entrepreneur is that you just do it. Like whatever it is, just do it. Well, I got this, or I got this, or I got. Who cares? Just do it. I think that's excellent, man. Great advice, man. This has been awesome. I hope everybody's just getting so much out of this. Put in the comments below if you're getting stuff out of this. Man, you just done so much in this past year or so. I mean, you just got engaged too, didn't you? So congrats to that. And you're just living the life, dude.
Yeah, I did. Late December 28th.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. You got a book out. You got your clothing line. Running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. You're just on cloud nine right now. This is awesome. Man, let's end this with give your best advice for your viewers right now. What advice would you give for your viewers? And let's sum it up there.
And it's a two-part, right? So, and I learned this from my brothers, like, and speaking on that real quick before I get to my advice, guys, anybody could be a role model. Anybody could be a mentor. You could take information from anybody. One thing that I like to live by is that I never shut anyone out of a conversation, or if anyone's trying to tell me something, I never shut anyone out, because you never know when someone is saying something that could possibly change your life, right? So you always have to be open to hearing the conversations in order to navigate, or in order to decipher, is this something I can use, or is it something that I can't? But you can't shut anyone out. Like, there's this saying going around, like, you have to treat the janitor with the same respect as the CEO. Man, that couldn't explain me anymore, because I don't look at the janitor different. When he goes and cleans bathrooms, or cleans floors, or cleans tables or desks, or whatever he's cleaning, he's putting his heart into it. Like, that's how he's feeding his family. Like, he's waking up every single morning, put his clothes on just like everyone else. Like, he's putting his clothes on like I put my uniform on. That just happens to be his lane of work. You know what I'm saying? So, like, never look down on anyone else's position or wherever anyone else is, and think that they don't have anything to offer you. I think everyone has something to offer for somebody, right? Like, it might not be what you need to hear, but it could be what someone else needs to hear. So I'm always big on just hearing everybody out, man, because you never know when somebody can say something that could possibly, help you or change your life. So with that being said, man, piece of advice my brothers always tell. Well, my father told me this first. He told me NFL stands for not for long, right? So the reason I'm into a lot of things, and the reason that I'm always, insert myself here and trying to start this and trying to create this and trying to come up with this and trying to always do things, man, is because I know there's one day, and that day's going to come where there's no more football. Like, I've been playing football since I've been in third grade, but there's going to come a point in time where there's no more, right? And like I just mentioned, guys, like, my life can't stop. Like, I can't come to a crossroads because football has been taken away from me. Like, no, it is no way possible. Everything that I've been preaching to you guys, everything that I talk to people on a daily basis, I would be the biggest hypocrite ever if my life was to just stop after football. If I was to just sit down on the couch, not knowing what to do, have no motivation, have no urge, have no bite to get up and, go find a job or go create something or go manage something or go run. I would be the biggest hypocrite, right? If I was just to just throw it away, because I'm telling you guys that we have to prepare for adversity. So what I'm doing now, man, I'm trying my hand on a lot of different things to see what works and see what sticks and see what works for me. So when that time does come for me, I'm already ahead of the game, right? I'm already knowing which avenues I want to follow. I'm already knowing, where I want to spend most of my time and where I want to spend most of my energy. Now, granted, even then, it still may not work, but I don't think that's wasted time, right? That's just experience. That's just me learning something new. That's just me learning about myself, right? So I always take that with myself. NFL stands for not for long, and you can apply it to life too. Like, there's never a time that, like, we always got to remember, guys, that whatever we're doing right now, it's always, the next thing is always right around the corner. So we always got to be willing, and we always got to prepare ourselves to get ready for the next thing, right? Not saying that don't enjoy that, because I definitely want you to enjoy whatever you're doing. But I'm also saying that don't get too complacent and don't get too comfortable. Always be willing to grow. Give yourself room to grow. And with that being said, guys, some of the best advice I can leave you with is what my brothers say. They tell me this all the time, and they're younger than me, and I respect them just like I respect anybody else, just like I can respect the coach, my parents, anybody. Guys, they tell me to write down my goals, right? So I'm not sure if you guys are big with goal setting, but goal setting is something that I've learned along the way that's really, really, really helped excel me, right? So each and every year, whether it's quarterly, annually, semi-annually, whatever it is, like I set out a certain amount of goals for myself. Short-term goals, long-term goals, football goals, life goals, business goals, relationship goals, mentoring goals, men goals, whatever it is, right? Like if I want to be better in my relationship, how do I want to be better in my relationship? If I want to be a better football player, what steps am I going to take to become a better football player? If I want to be a better son, brother, cousin, nephew, whatever it is, what steps am I taking? What am I doing to get to that point? It can't just be a thing where you want something, right? You have to be able to want it and then put a plan in action to go get it and then pursue it. Because that's the only way that anything can ever happen, right? Like we can't, God, and I keep going back to it. The work, the grind, the part that's in the middle that nobody gets the credit for, you can't skip that. Like when people see you, they're going to see the finished product or they're going to see the beginning product. But what you have to understand, and what I'm telling you now, is that middle process, that middle part, the part that nobody likes talking about, or the part that's not the most interesting or fun, or the part where you have to miss out on a lot of, outings with your friends, or long nights you have to stay up, or, times where you feel like you lost it all. Guys, those times are the times that's going to build the most character. And when you build the most character, you're going to learn perseverance. And when you learn perseverance, you can beat anything. You can get through anything because you will never quit. You'll develop an attitude, that's in you, that no one can never take from you. And once you have something that no one can ever take from you, you become a dangerous person. You know what I'm saying? Like you become a dangerous individual when you have something that no one can ever take from you. So the advice that my brothers give me, man, is to write out my goals, right? And write out anything I want to do that year, anything I want to do that month, anything I want to do that week. They could be, you can write out a goal sheet for that day, that week, that month, that year, however you want to do it. 5 years from now, my 10-year goal, whatever goal plan you want to do, write them out. Because when you write things out, study shows, and I'm telling you guys, it's not just me saying, the study shows that you're more reluctant and you want to go and get it more because you see it on paper, right? It means more that you've written it down on paper and not just something that you're telling yourself in your head. Like when you write something down, you want to hold yourself accountable for it, right? So they told me to write my goals down. And after I reach every goal, I'm crossing it out. Every time I reach something, I'm crossing it out. And I don't stop until I get it. And I'm carrying that sheet with me wherever I put note cards in my bathroom, whether I'm putting something in my wallet, whether I'm putting something in my car, whether I'm putting something in my locker with the Steelers, guys, whatever I have to do, whether it's something that I look at each and every day because we all check our phones as soon as we wake up in the morning. So whether it's something I have in my wallpaper, my background, I have to accustom myself with each goal that I want to attain. And I have to constantly see it, right? And because when I constantly see it, it's going to get ingrained in my head, and I'm not going to stop until I get it. So guys, that's what I leave you guys with today. Just write down your goals. Don't stop until you get it. Never let no one tell you that you can't do something. Never let no one tell you that something is too big or too small, because you can do whatever you want to do. And I definitely second that.
Man, I absolutely love that. I love that you also break down goals into, you can do it into days, months, years. I mean, people sometimes think that when they have to sit down and write out goals, it has to be like a 5 or 10-year goal, but it can be a day goal. It can be an hour goal. I mean, and the affirmation is so important. It is. It's so important to put it out there in the universe and let the universe, manifest it. I love it, man. As excellent advice, man. I know y'all got to be getting a lot of value out of this right now. I mean, good Lord, all the value that we're getting. I mean, put in the comments below all the value you're getting and what you've learned today. Trey, man, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you for all that you do for this community. Thank you for all that you're doing, for everyone. Guys, go check out Tuesdays for Trey. We're going to put all his information down below. And once again, thank you as well for giving out the 5 shirts. We will talk about that in a minute and how you can win those. I really appreciate you coming on here and just spreading so much knowledge and so much value, man. Good luck this year with your season. Hopefully y'all will be back to normal by then, and hopefully things in the world will be turning like normal. But guys, just put in the comments below, how much you appreciate Trey coming on and giving all this value. Thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate you guys for having me, and thank everyone for listening. Like you said, I'll put my information below. Thank you.
What a story. Put in the comments below if you got value out of that. Put in the comments below, type fire if that was just incredible question and answer situation. I mean, Trey has so much to give, so much value. It's just incredible all the adversity he's gone through, the challenges he's gone through to be where he is today. Guys, if you don't think that you can do it, I mean, look at that story right there. It's just incredible. Put in the comments below things that you've gone through, challenges that you've had, and how you've overcome them, or how you're going to overcome them. Type overcome right now in the comments below. That was great. That's a great way to end on Wednesday right there. I mean, I am just inspired. I'm ready to go out and just take over the world. Are you? Make sure this evening to go on social media and put what you've learned over the last few days. Make sure to tag a friend, and make sure to put hashtag the quest, hashtag change today, hashtag be successful today, hashtag millionaire in the making. And we're going to pick a few winners to give out some of the gifts that Trey was so nice to give out. And we will announce the winners tomorrow. Guys, remember, if you missed some of today or the days previous, we got the recordings for 50% off, and we're selling the book that's going to have the summary of each speaker and have where you can jot down notes and everything like that. The book is 75% off till the end of today, so make sure that you take advantage of that. And we still have the recordings 50% off for today as well. So make sure that you take advantage of that. Guys, once again, comment below if you got value out of this. Make sure to go on social media, tell your friends, your family about this. We have 2 more amazing speakers for tomorrow, for Thursday. We're going to end it off the right way, I promise you that. Make sure you don't miss tomorrow. Be here before 11. Make sure you go on social media and post hashtag the quest, hashtag change your mindset today, hashtag make a change. And remember, change your mindset today. Comment below if you've been getting up at 5 a.m. Comment below if you've been taking value out of the last 3 days and what you're doing to change your life today so that you'll be a millionaire tomorrow, so that you'll be living the dream that you've always wanted tomorrow. If you have any questions or have anything, put them in the comments below and we'll answer them, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Guys, I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning.